Good morning, folks. This is Omar Jose. The real come back at you. Good morning. I think it's 5 something in the morning. I'm not sure. Close to 6. Share with y'all folks about something that's been on my mind. Well, not on my mind, because it's not personal. And it was said to me by many sages. My face is swollen again. Man. Anyway, lost my train of thought. Yeah, it was said that without investigation, no right to speak. And a lot of people's out here feeding information, pushing nationality, pushing black power, black agenda, black this, black that, African this, African that, white this, white that, brown, green, and colors as if this is a Crayola box world or a rainbow world. But if you remember, to those who are scholastics or in-scholastics, that a rainbow in folklore, there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Lucky Charms has a rainbow where it gives you cereal and stuff. So for some reason, colors are associated with gifts. So if you claim any color and stuff like that, you're a gift to the person who likes your color, or blah, blah, blah. There is no law that binds that. So this story is about the tale of one coin, two faces, and that coin is given to the public, and it's called man's law and God's law. When you look at man's law, it's called a corporation, because the man, Malcolm X said the man, other brothers and sisters in the 60s would say the man. And so the man or the owner gave your last name. Everybody in the United States for the past 400 years have a slave owner's last name. Even me up until a couple weeks ago. So when the man created his own law from England and came to over here to Amexis, or Amexum, which this country was called before they came here, they changed the name, wrote a law to keep the name down so nobody could open it up. In their future, they sealed it. Done. Stamp it. Don't put Caesar's stamp on it. Then after they wrote the law to change the name of the land, then they wrote laws to govern the new name called America. And so you get your George Washington, Thomas Edison, J. Edgar Hoover, Calvin Coolidge. These men introduced law through their office called presidency, because they have the chief office of the military, and anybody who controls the military controls the laws. So, if you got big guns and you want to write some shit, you got big guns with friends and they need some stuff done, if your name been changed and your country's been changed and your language has been changed, I have to write laws to keep you down. I write laws to keep you from thinking outside the box. And I have to write laws for every time you think, there's a law to remove that thought. That's man's law. So, when Congress passed a law that you cannot grow food, why? Because they wrote a law of their own called the American Constitution. And they gave you, it was gold and silver in the American Constitution, because they were citizens. 1932, when the man ran out of money, they gave you Federal Reserve called banknote. So now you're chasing money and that carrying gold. And so you cannot do any trading with any other countries, because other countries rather have gold than American currency, as it is today. So the dollar is no good, hardly. And so there's laws, once again, to keep you from being sovereign and being your own person. And so now, when the FEMA camps come, when the police come, and they put us in jail for protecting ourselves. They put us in jail for learning the law. They put us in jail for standing up in the law for ourselves. They put us in jail for having too much money. Remember, you can't even buy a car in cash over $10,000. They're saying that you have to have taxes on how you get that $10,000. You cannot have cash, or you get federally indicted. So that means that every black person who has $10,000 in cash have to report to the government. That's a crime against nature in itself. It's a crime against God in itself. So man's law keeps all people without a nationality subject. And the law of the Bible and the law of man says, thou shalt not steal, rob, kill, or covet another man's property. So when your name got changed to Brown, Jacobson, Smith, Antonian, and all these other last names, you became property. And you let yourself be subject to that name because you never fought out your mind to find out who you are as an individual and who you are as a group and who you are as a nation. And that's why we claim Moorish American, Hebrew Israelites, because our history and in the Bible tells about when we turn our back on God and that we were subject to man and his laws and his lust for pagan worship and his false deities and what they would call devils, demons, and Satan, because he's burning you with his words. And it's devilish. But on the flip side, on the constitutional or the law of God, in the book of the Torah, the Most High tells us how to live in God's law and defeat man's law. The Messiah said that if you're a friend of God, you're an enemy to the world. And the enemy in the world loves its own laws. So you turn back to God's law and maintain your own self, your life, get nationalized, read the laws. The white man's law said ignorance of any law is no excuse. And that's where their cliche is, if you put it in a book and you write it in laws, niggers won't read it because they get overwhelmed by the sight of all the paperwork. And it is our job to make so much paperwork and confuse them that our job is just to read the paperwork and just keep writing it. And they'll react to it. We don't have to do nothing. So that's why rich don't pay taxes. They don't have no jobs. They don't do nothing but keep stacking paperwork this high. So you figure your paperwork is this high. That's how far mentally you are down because you won't read each slice. But if you smoke weed for fun, you'll eat the whole fucking pie. If you go to work just to have fun, you'll spend the whole check. But when we come and tell you that you need to read the laws and study the laws and free yourself, then it's a problem. Why? So there's two sides to every story. So there's two sides to every coin. So they're selling you an unconstitutional law and you're willingly being consensual slaves. Because every time you write on the birth certificates and child certificates and stuff like that, and driver license, you're telling them that I'm ignorant of the fact that I was born from the earth and I was born in this country, but I have to pay you tribute to fish, collect rainwater, to grow food, and to travel, and to have kids, and have a sustainable life of my own, or of your own. So like George Washington said, he said, a man who sacrifices freedom for a little bit of safety don't deserve safety nor freedom. So, for all of you who decide that you rather have a little bit of safety to forsake your freedom, you're a fucking coward. All day. All day. There is no safety in freedom. There is no beauty about a revolution. And there's nothing healthy about a war. But when it comes to laws of necessity, you have to use your mind. Like the laws of gravity, the laws of fate, the laws of spellbinding, the laws of choice awareness, the laws of numerical, the laws of alphabetical. I mean, there's many laws. Like, there's a law for cooking. There's a process. You start the fire, get a certain temperature, get the pot ready, put the bread in, put it on timer, wait, ding, get it out, eat. That's how everything in life is. Processes. But anyway, to make a long story short, that corporate America are writing laws to people who consider themselves colors. And if you want to consider yourself a color or try to be a continent within a continent, that is not law binding, is not legal binding. Actually, it's blatant ignorant. And that type of ignorance is a hat for a slave. And then when an elitist see you in that ignorance, he'll get his law pamphlet and he'll remember Negro Act 1740. And it says that any slave owner can kill his property, come get his property. He can beat, maim, torture, starve, whatever it is he wants to, because it's his property. Like your car, you can crash it and all that. It's your property. But here's the thing is about if you crash your car, the police gonna come find you and cite you and or put you in jail because you crashed in their state. Yeah. So it's not your car. Your kids, right? If your kids steal something out of Target or Walmart or something like that, and you out of town somewhere, and when you come back, you got a summons to go to court, and the kid don't go to jail, but you go to jail. Why? Why is it that you have no control over your kids? Why is it that if you holler at your kids, they'll call the school, and the school will call the police, and you'll go to jail and lose your job? Why? Because you don't own your kids. Why is it if you rip a half a shirt now, somebody come over and grab you up and ask you was you in a fight or something, and then investigate you to make sure you're telling the truth? Because you don't own yourself. Why you can't sit outside and have assemblies without a law that just been passed called the Patriot Act saying that you're a rebel or a domestic terrorist? Because you're not a citizen of the United States. Black man, white man, African American, red, brown, married man, brown man. Investigate these things. Don't take my word for them. Please don't. But once again, without no investigation, no right to speak. Until next time, it's Omar Jose telling y'all, be aware, be kind, be mindful. And with all that money you may get, it's really useless. It says it's going to be, for every $1, it's going to be worth 2 cents. So with all that money you get, don't pay attention. Buy some attention. And read the rules. I know there's a lot of y'all ladies, especially niggas, y'all don't like to read the rules. Y'all don't like to read manuals. Y'all don't like to read booklets. Y'all don't even like to read. Unless it's a fucking fuck video or a rap video or some shit. So, get a clue. Out.